Hello guys, this is Ditatan from BP Universe, and we are in the series of video tutorials for Colorizing DMD and the new Serum format. We are now in the advanced techniques, so you really need to get to use a bit the software. And what I would like to show you now in this video is how to do some multi-frame colorization and how to get an advantage of one function that we implemented with the copy pasting. So I will be using again the champion pub projects that I am working on right now, a conversion project from the old format PAL VNI to VNI to Serum format. So what I can do is, and what I'd like to say again is how can I quickly do some colorization. Let's say, for example, this one, it will be a good example. I want to colorize. You see all this sequence. So this sequence is a fixed content sequence. The information that I see here is usually the same, or maybe not. No, there is some dynamic content, sorry about me. And this transition, you've seen that I recorded it, it's dumped, but it's not colorized. I've colorized some of the frames, but not all of them. So if I want to colorize them very quickly, what I can do is select all the frame. So I will click on the first one, then the last one. I want to colorize, and you will see that it will select all the frames in between using the shift key. I can also use the control key to select only one by one some frames that I am interested in. So it's another option to do it. So for me right now it will be yes, first one to the last one, and not this one, okay, this one here, and I will want to use exactly the same color as what you can see here. Only point is that this should be dynamic, so when everything is selected, what the software will do is replicate everything that you are doing just right now. So I will select the green set, applying it to the dynamic scene. I will indicate with the right click here that it's a dynamic content here. Everything, no, here the countdown is also dynamic. So I think second set here for the countdown. So this content is dynamic, the rest is a fixed content. And now I will be, so what you've seen, or what you can see is that when I am drawing, when I am doing some colorization, it is doing exactly the same on all the frames, replicating exactly what I'm doing here on all the frames. As you can see, for example, for this one, the colorization that I've made for the dynamic content is not large enough, so I will increase it a bit, just what is needed. Make sure, oops, it was in green, sorry. So let's redo that. Yeah, and just checking that on the first one, yeah, so for this one it won't be best. I will need to change either the color of Stevio here, or I will need to perhaps cut the transition somewhere. So this is what I will do in the end. What I can do also is just copy pasting what I have here. So I hit, either I select everything or I use Control A like in any Windows application. I will hit copy, I will hit paste. You don't see it, but the pasting content is the same. I moved the mouse so to show you that it was, but it was placed exactly over what was used before. I hit enter or I click, and it will paste the content, and you will see that the content will be replicated everywhere. Of course, all the fixed content is copied. So here you see the fixed content here and there, which might not be the best option for you. If I look at the raw frame, I see that this content has been changing. So now I can remodify only the frame that I will want to. So again, I take from the first one. Let's say I go to the transition more or less here. So all of these, I will keep them here with dynamic content for the top, with, I think it was in gray. for the bottom, this part, and this should be resetted to the basic coloring, or might be perhaps this one. Here it is. And now you can see that I've made the new transition. Oh, I forgot one line. So I was more or less here. Let's say, yeah, I forgot this line. Sorry about that, Steve. And now you can see that all the frame is being redrawn very easily and quite quickly. So all the frames of the sequence were done at once. So it's a nice way to also do some colorization on some transition, which is not so easy. For this one, before I forgot, because I won't be doing it again once. Yep, right here, everything. I will remove this, put that in white again, and make sure that the content is good. And that's it. Now all the frames are done correctly. So this is the way to take the advantage of multi colorization on multi-frame, sorry. So you can at once modify all the frames using Shift or Control to select the files. Now I'd like to show you another advanced techniques that we'll be using if you want to add some backgrounds, for example like this one. If you want to replicate the backgrounds, well, this one is not so bad, so let's take a look at it. So for it, I would like to improve the quality of the gradient that I see in the back. It was very basic because it was the only option I managed to do using the PAL and VNI tools. But with Serum, I can take more advantage about this. So I will want to replace all the color here. Okay, so you still here can see the shortcuts I'm using in order to select all the pixels. So on this I will be using, so here you see that I was using palette with gradients. So here I will want to use perhaps something like that, gradient of color here, and no matter it will change later on, it's not a big deal. I initialize the gradient there, and let's say that I want to have perhaps something like it's the night or it's the morning. Here trying to find something that will be a bit more beautiful. Nope, come on. No, not enough. Like that could be okay. Saying that we are in the early morning right now, the guy and the girls will be getting back home, and yeah, okay, this is something. Okay, I would like to reuse. Let's say that I will use this one. I don't know in the end if it's the best option, but still, this is what I want to use, at least for the example. So let's say I want to replicate this new gradient to the other frames here. So for this one, it should be quite easy. I can easily replace that. But when I've got the animation with the guy and the girl that is just getting out, it's a bit more complicated. So for it, either I copy paste and then I redraw all the guy and the girl, which might be time consuming. So what I will do is take the advantage of a feature that we have with the selection, with the multi-frame, and with the copy paste. So I will need to select the two frames, so the one that I want to colorize and the original one, using Control. So I've selected these two frames. On the first one, here, I will select the zone that I want to colorize. So I'm selecting the done here. I can use the Control Alt also to select this here. This I would like to colorize everything but the guy and the girl. So now it's selected, I'm good. I'm getting back to the original frame. Make sure that I click on the right one in order to, and here you can see that the selection zone is kept in memory. So now that it's kept, I will just need to select, click somewhere to select with a control to select one pixel. It's a small bug that we will be correcting, but for now I need to do that to ensure that this frame is active and that I will copy the content from this frame. And then I hit copy, so either copy or Control C, and then paste. Either I hit enter, I click, and it will be pasting the content, or I move the mouse if I need to, for any reason, to move it a little. So you can see that on the top of what I'm doing, you can see if I'm just exactly at the same position, you don't see anything. I hit enter or Control V, and if I go back to the original one, the frame I wanted to color, you see that it applied the gradient. And perhaps some of the content here, which is not a big deal. This content is dynamic, so I will be changing it very easily, either using color replace mode to colorize it this color, or in this color in the other color set. Let's say this one. I don't know why it's not here. No, and now it's done very easily and quickly. So this is the way to replicate very easily from one frame to the other a content that you would like to adjust and that you need to replicate without losing that much of time. If I use these two frames as an example, I will redo the same thing just to a bit quicker for you, just to keep follow about what I'm doing. Or let's say, I don't know if this, no, this one, okay, it's fine, two of them. So I'm selecting the content here using Control, using the Alt also to select all the frame with the same. Here I see that there is some missing parts. Okay, everything is selected here. I go to the original one. You see that from here I've got all 4 the guys, and this guy don't really need it. I don't want to replicate it. So what I will do is readjust. I can readjust the selection done here, saying okay, you know, I don't want to see this guy either, so better not copy this guy here. So I'm getting out all the pixels that I don't want to replicate, and then Control C, go back, where was I? Here, Control V, and now here I can click, and that's it. So this content has not changed. So again, color replace, go back, because I've chosen a black background here. It's very easy to do, very straightforward, and that's it. Again, easy way to replicate that. Be aware that when you are hitting copy pasting, it will also replicate the palette. So this is why, because you see that here it's been changing, because the colors were the original one I was using here. So because I'm copy pasting the palette, this is why it's removed now. So I will need to adjust that and perhaps change a color or apply the gradient to another place in the palette where there is some room with colors that are not used. Again, it's not a big matter. For the example, what was important, I think, is to explain you how to take the advantage of using Control to select two different frames, and then selecting a zone that will be used from one frame to the other to replicate really easily a background or something that you want to show. I hope that it was clear for you. I hope that you enjoy, and of course, as I say in all my videos, experiment. It's very important for you to experiment, to try to do it by yourself, and it's the best way to understand exactly how I am manipulating. And I hope that it's clear. If you have any concern or questions, do not hesitate to join us on the Discord channel. All the links are in the description, video description, so do not hesitate to join us and to ask your question there. See you!